Hello and welcome back, and it feels like spring now. We got the forget-me-nots and the bluebells, they're all coming out. We got beds that are going over, these plants are all going over, but they're still giving us harvests. And then we've got beds that are being productive, and we've got stuff that is just starting out as well. So it really does feel like spring, and it feels like there's a lot of energy going on at the moment. Right. So I haven't done a garden tour for a bit. I thought what I'll do is do a bit of a catch up. Now, I haven't done all the things that I hoped to have done from last Thursday. It just hasn't been the weather, but I'm starting to catch up now. And I'm not too worried. If things go a bit later, things go a bit later. I mean, that's gardening in the UK at the moment. Right, so where do I start? I didn't really know where to start. Do I start at the beds that all the forget-me-nots are in? Do I start in the greenhouse where the tomatoes are just flying away? Or do I start here where I've got all these kales? I may start here. These kales, I'm really pleased with how they're turning out. Let me just show you. Right, so we've got all the kales that I did back in autumn. And what they're doing is they're all going to flower now. So we've got all these florettes and they're really tender. So we're really enjoying those. And it's just so easy just to pick them. And then we've got some of the purple sprouting broccoli. I mean, quite a lot of that now we've picked. But we're really enjoying all these florettes of these kales. These Russian reds, they're flat leaf. They're really producing a lot of nice florettes, whereas the green curly kale, they're a bit more longer, but again, they're really nice. And then the Nero, they're not as many, so definitely all these flat leaf, which is what I've got, they're the ones that I'm going to be sowing this week. Because again, I haven't caught up with me sowing. All those seeds that I said I was going to do last week, I've still to do those. Hopefully this afternoon I can do those. Right, what next? Well, I may do the top bed before I do the rest of down here, because that really is flourishing now at the moment, and nature really has helped. So I can't complain about weather when it does this. Let me show you this. So this is how nature really helps me in this garden. It just self-seeds everywhere. And what I do is I just leave it. If I like it, it stays. If not, it goes. So all these forget-me-nots, these are all self-seeded. And the view, when we walk out of the kitchen this way, oh, it's really nice. And then over here, it's self-seeded, but it's also being the white and the blue forget-me-nots. So that's a real nice mix. So the way it's working, it's really nice. We've also got just down here, the bluebells are just starting to pop out, and over there, and then we've got a big massive clump over there, and they're just spreading all over the place. So that's really nice against the backdrop of the blue of the forget-me-nots. And then probably in about a week or two's time, I can just see one over there. We'll have the Tissington whites coming out. So I'm really pleased, and like I say, this is really nice to walk out and see spring. And it's nice against the backdrop with some kales and rocket that I've let go to flower. So we've got bees just humming around all over the place at the moment. And then with these ranunculus which have survived. Right, let me just show you over here with all the rockets in flower over here. Right, so this is the rocket bed. It's mostly cultivated. We've got some wild rocket and mizunas around the edges. What's really nice is we're letting it go to flower at the moment. So this bed feels like a whole bed of wild grasses at the moment. So when we come out of the kitchen, we've got this lovely view of these just going in the wind. And we've had a lot of wind. And then hopefully in the backdrop, you'll be able to see the forget-me-nots. So have that view as we walk out is really pleasant. So definitely going to be doing this again with the wild rocket and the cultivated rocket, because I've had all the harvest in the early spring and we are still picking the leaves, but also we're picking the florettes as well. And the florettes have got a real nice fresh flavour and then slightly peppery, but not as strong as the wild rocket. So the cultivated rocket is milder than the wild rocket, and that's also the same for the florettes. Now the Mizuna, the mustard wasabi one, that's got a kick to it, but again, that's again nice to have the florettes. We're having all these different flavours and a big pop in your mouth when you start eating them. So we've got those, and like I say, in these winds, to have all these going like this is really nice. It's nice to see. And then on this bed we've still got more purple sprouting broccoli and spinaches. So both of them are working well, and I think maybe in 3 weeks I'll see how this bed's doing, because we may actually keep it just as a decorative thing with all the flowers coming out. And with the potatoes, I may actually put them in small pots just to start them off and then clear this bed. But we'll see how we go with that. It all depends on the weather, doesn't it? Right, let's take it back down there now. Right, so this is still my favourite view as I walk down this path. As you can see, we've got plenty of spinaches, and the Feltham early peas, they're doing okay here. And so are the second ones, the Provence. The other ones haven't come up yet. Right, so the spinach in the far bed, and that's doing alright, it's surviving the winds, and the leeks, will start harvesting those in the next couple of days, and hopefully be able to clear that bed in the next 2 weeks. Really enjoy roasted leeks, so we'll see what we get from those. And the onions, they're surviving the winds as well. Right, so I will be taking this down in the next couple of weeks. Everything's in the next couple of weeks, isn't it? And I'm going to be making a greenhouse for my mum. So I'll be reusing most of this on that. So we have got spinach and rocket in here as well. So again, we've been harvesting that. So we've had plenty of spinach and plenty of rocket. Right, so that just leaves in here, and it's really nice to get into the warmth and out of the wind. And we're getting some nice warmth in here during the day, and everything's getting protected, touch wood, during the evenings. So the tomatoes, the letar and the brassica, they're doing fine. The letar has actually recovered from the edema, and we're getting some good growth on the brassica. Then onto the carrots. So I got good germination on the Nantes side. The Amsterdam side, not as good. So we'll see what I do next time. Right, onto these sweet peas. These sweet peas, they're doing fine, and I do need to start to pinch them out at some point. It's probably about 2 or 3 weeks. Everything's in about 2 or 3 weeks, so I always put it off. Right, and onto this jungle, and this really is a jungle. At the moment, these tomatoes are doing alright. I actually expected more yellow leaves, but they're doing all fine, and we're just getting on this sun gold, the first flower. So like I say, they're doing alright here. I expected them to be faring worse than what they are at the moment. But what I do need to do is I do need to actually clear this space. This is where these are going to get potted onto. So these are all the onions, and they're going to go into the leek bed where the leeks are at the moment. So that's why I need to harvest those, get these out. And what I will do is, where I did on the other bed, I'm going to get some bigger spacing of 200 so I can get some leeks in between them. I'm going to do the same, but I'm still going to keep the leeks in here and then outside in pots. And what I'll do is I'll get some of these lettuces in between those gaps in the meantime. And then it comes onto these broad beans. Oh, I'm so desperate to harden these off all the time. Every time I try and put them out, they just get battered by the winds. So hopefully we'll have some calmer days and I can get those hard enough because they are so desperate to get out. And then we've got these mange tout. Again, I haven't pinched them out yet, but I have accidentally pinched one out by just taking off the top there. And then these are the calamantha. And now these have been in these pots for a year now. So hoping around about July time I can actually put them out. They've got some good growth on them now. They take forever to grow, but once they do grow, I get some really nice flowers on the ones that we got outside. So I'm hoping I can interplant these up on by the bench. So we'll see how they go. I've got quite a few of those. And then just at the bottom there is just brassicas and beetroot scouted the beds and into more pots. And plenty of Chinese cabbage to feed the slugs. Right, so that's it for me. So like I always say, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you again.